This is Satisfactory, the second best factory building game ever made, depending on who you ask. When I originally played Satisfactory, when it was still in early access, I kept encountering one fatal flaw. It is an otherwise incredible experience that you can sink hours and hours into. But when you're building factories, especially ones that are the same size as you start getting great views like this. I cannot see what I'm doing. For a game that's about building sprawling factories, being able to see the bigger picture is so essential. I found myself climbing up cliff faces to see the layout of my factory, but then having to come back down to actually do the placing. In simple terms, Satisfactory's first-person POV limits it. Or so I thought. One of the meta resources of the game, if that's not too pretentious to say, is control, aka knowing what the actual fuck is going on in your factory. Not enough of this, and you might feel overwhelmed, or feel like your factory isn't working properly, even if it is. It's maybe one of the most common complaints about the game, but that's because people choose to be spaghetti chefs. I think if we're being honest with ourselves, a lot of us play games like Satisfactory for the sense of control or logic it can provide. Or maybe it's just the sheer OCD of placing all your conveyors neatly. Whatever the case may be, having that control is quite core to enjoying the experience. Drawing comparison from the best factory building game on Steam, depending on who you ask, you see things from a bird's eye point of view. This makes it naturally easier to make sense of sprawling factories, flowing conveyors, arms taking and giving eternally, machines building machines. Given Factoria has much more complicated supply chains right off the bat, this point of view makes much more sense than the first person. Satisfactory always felt like I couldn't plan things out nicely, because of having to run around while I place things, only to realize that I've misaligned some assemblers and have to scrap them all. It was only during my playthrough of version 1.0 that I came to a realization. You unlock the tools that alleviate this problem. And this POV actually makes the game a lot better. Satisfactory opens up an interesting dynamic, rewarding the player with convenience and better oversight, and ultimately with more control. Whereas in Factorio, you upgrade your character through being able to move better on the ground, in Satisfactory you get that, and you get increased verticality. And my oh my is this a good reward. It starts off simple, with the tower, but then with the jetpack, and eventually the hoverpack, you can start to get a much better overview of what you're doing. And this is perfectly synced up with how complex your factories get. Just as you need more vision, you unlock the upgrades that give it to you. Building your factories vertically also wouldn't be possible in a different POV. Third person would cause endless clipping issues, and a bird's eye view wouldn't let you see through layers properly. As a result of being able to build vertically, you can also make much more complex and compact designs that scale up and down, which you couldn't do otherwise. Satisfactory is actually kind of genius for choosing this type of POV. Additionally, it allows for some actually fun action-adventure mechanics and platforming. I think this will always be more fun than a top-down bug shooter. It's incredibly satisfying, or should I say satisfactory, when you spend all this time and effort building your factories, and then being able to zoom out and see the whole thing in all of its glory. Just seeing your megastructure factory alone is a reward enough. And that is the beauty that playing in the first person brings. Thanks for watching.